a beautiful Monday, and of course, yesterday we didn't do our predictions in all, including TikTok. So, but we said winners never quit. Some days it gets off all the rest, and of course, there was a fault on my phone, so I was unable, of course, to record yesterday. But we said winners never quit. We shall start today. Remember last time on our last first post, we won one ticket there. Others got spoiled because of other funny teams. And we expect to say this is, of course, predictions. We just wait for the results. We don't play. We are just expecting. So we are starting today with the game of Everton versus Leeds. This was in Premier League, of course. And if you to look at Everton itself, in the last five games, of course, they managed only to pick one win and, of course, to draw, two losses, which is actually alarming for them. And Leeds, now it's worse. 3 draws and 1 win, and, of course, 1 loss in the last of 5 games, and they sit up, of course. Leeds sits in the 10th positions and Everton sit in the 11th position, which is actually a mid team trying to meet. And you know, when it comes to mid team, don't expect many goals in this game. Don't expect many goals in this game. And of course, if you to look at these two teams, they have ever met, of course, in the last 8 matches. You look at Everton won 3 and Leeds also won 3, and there were 2 draws. So it's going to be a tricky one. We say that every season teams choose to play how they want. Some season they're doing very well, some season they're doing bad. We experienced yesterday on Arsenal, who is the table leaders, when Manchester United humiliated them 3-2. And of course, in this game we shall go with under 3.5 in this game between Leeds and, of course, Everton. And some people may choose to play both teams to score, but we don't expect many goals in this games. The second game in the slips, of course, there are 2 separate slips. It's Verona versus Udinese. So this, of course, 2 teams, they have ever also met, but always draws is more than wins for these 2 teams. Verona managed to actually the one when they met, of course, head-to-head, they won 3, and Udinese picked 2, of course, win in the last 9 meetings with this Verona. And if you to look at the table right now, Verona sits in the 19th positions, whereas Udinese sits on the 10th position. And if you're to look at the performance on the recent in the last 5 games, Verona lost 4, drew 1, and Udinese drew 2, managed to pick on a 1 win and 2 losses in the last 5 games. Yeah, so in this game as well, we are not going with a couple of goals. We are going with also under 3.5 in this game. Yeah, in this first slips. Then the last game in under the slips, the first one is Girona versus Getafe. So we know all that these 2 teams are crazy when it comes to actually playing. Yes. And one team which is doing badly, in the other way around, it has been doing well when these 2 teammates. So Girona right now sit in the 13 positions and Getafe 18 position in the league there in La Liga. But if you to assess their performance head-to-head meeting, it's quite different. That Girona managed only to pick 3 wins, then 2 draws, and then Getafe picked 5 wins when they met and they score goals. So this actually becomes very, very difficult to detect who can win. But if you to look at Girona of late, it's not doing bad. Yeah, it's actually doing well, of which this would take us to guard Girona. We shall guard Girona in this first ticket. So in this first game, Everton versus Leeds, under 3.5. Verona versus Udinese under 3.5. And Girona versus Getafe. We shall go with home win or draw. So take that and add and see what we expect there. Now we shall smartly move to the second slips. And these second slips, we shall see some of the teams maybe you have never played, others you have played, but how do they play actually? The first one is Norwich City versus Coventry. Now, this is the 20th positions, if you look at these, versus the Coventry, that's the 6th positions, versus Coventry, which sits in the first position in the league table. Yeah, and Norwich City of recent, they have been performing quite well compared to others. Because if you're to look at the last 5 games, they won 3, they lost 2. But Coventry managed to pick only 1 win in the last 5 matches, draw 1 and lost 3, which is quite alarming. Moreover, it's topping the table. Now, for us, let's look at these 2 teams head to head. Norwich City has won 6 times, beating Coventry in the last 8 meetings, we can say. And then 2 draws. And Coventry did not win any game when they met Norwich in the last 10 games. Someone will say you're crazy to give this. Maybe to trust these 2 teams. Maybe it's a sure win to Coventry. I don't doubt. But for us to be safe, there are some records that I keep telling you that Manchester United, when it's doing bad, they still manage to beat Arsenal. Try to look at that, even when they're doing well. So it's like Norwich City and Coventry. Even when they're doing badly, they would get time, because Norwich is on the 20th position. You ask yourself, first and 20th, what would be the results? We even look at Paris last time, how he struggled. Paris FC bet almost Paris Saint-Germain, who actually was topping the table. Not betting, but they scored in the first few minutes. Yeah, so let's get back to this game. Norwich versus Coventry. I'm going with goal or goal. Both team to score. To be safe, both team to score. Then the second game in the slips is in Netherlands. That is Edo Den Haag versus Vitesse. Another story here. Edo Den Haag won 3 matches in the last 5 games, lost 2, and they sit in the first position. And Vitesse sits, of course, in the 19th position with 1 win in the last 5 games, lost 2 and draw 2. And of course, if you to look at these 2 teams again, head-to-head meeting, Deng picked only 3 wins and then 4 draws, and then also Vitesse 3 win head-to-head meeting. Because sometimes don't look at people's positions, but the history. And for this case, Den Haag looks doing well. But all in all, I see that it is actually not good to trust them just to go fully like that. So I would say also both teams will score in this game. Both teams will score. Now, the last game under this, it is Walla Wijk versus Jong Utrecht, still in Netherlands. So while Wijk is sitting in the 8th position, whereas Jong Utrecht sits in, of course, on the 10th position. And if you have to look at their performance in the last 5 meetings, while Wijk of course, won 2, lost 2, and drew 1. And of course, John Utrecht won 3, lost only 2 in the last 5 games. But their positions varies. Number 8 and number 10 is quite close. That shows it looks to be a tight game, and you need not to just go whole like that in this game. You expect either goals to be scored or will be a slim win for narrow one for some teams here. But all in all, for us, we shall try to go with a straight win somewhere. Look at their performance. Goals are always scored. Many goals. These two teams. Almost it's only one time in the last 8 meetings that they fail. One team failed to score. But other meeting, 3-2, 1-3, 2-2, 4-2, in the between these two teams. So in this game, for us to be safe, we shall also go with goal in this game. So the second ticket got Norwich City versus Coventry, goal. Den Haag versus Vitesse, goal. And of course, Walla Wiject versus John Utrecht. Also, we're going with goal. So these are my predictions for today. You're free to drop yours in the comment section, and I always say winners never quit. Please share, likes, and invite friends. I'm very happy getting some, of course, good news from other colleagues who say that my friend refers me to your YouTube channel, that you actually drop good tips there. Let's try. Yes, we just try, and you're always welcome to tell your friends. Tell them to check out and make their own decision whether to go with it or not. But always, he said, winners never quit. And that is us. All the best in this actually match. Next, is Champion League loading up, and we got many in stores for you. So tomorrow, check very early. I will be dropping UEFA Champion League there. For today, let's go with these 2 tickets.